This is our Swift Basecamp 2. It's a 2020 special edition model, and in this model Swift have installed the Swift Command touchscreen control panel. However, for models post 2022, Swift have removed this system. When we log onto the Basecamp website and scroll down to Basecamp front to rear, we can see that the Swift Command control panel has been replaced with what looks like a more archaic control panel. This seems a bit odd and like a step backwards. So for a comparison, let's dive into our Basecamp 2 and have a look at the Swift Command. So we are in the Basecamp. I'm on the drive and I'm on electric hookup. And the reason I'm on electric hookup is at the time of making this video, it's the Queen's Jubilee weekend celebrations. We've got a big family event this afternoon, so I'm using the fridge to store extra food and drink. So one of the benefits of keeping the Basecamp at home. But whilst I'm on electric hookup, I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about the Swift Command. And in particular, Swift have removed the Swift Command from 2022 caravans, well, the vast majority of their caravans, including the Basecamps. And the question is it a downgrade or not? Let's discuss. One of the very useful features of the Swift Command system is the Bluetooth and internet connectivity. So you can download the app to your smart device, and then when you open the app, if you want to access the control panel over Bluetooth, just go into the app and hit the control panel tab, and that brings up then all of the functions that you see on the Swift Command. Very, very useful. And the range away from the Basecamp is about 20 feet that you can connect to this. And then there's also a remote features connectivity so that you can connect over the internet from anywhere in the world. Okay, so this is the Swift Command panel, which is installed on the side of the wardrobe in the Basecamp 2. So if we have a look at it from left to right to have a look what this is telling us. So top left hand corner, it's given us the temperature inside the Basecamp, which is 12 degrees. Then the temperature outside is 10 degrees, and then it's given us a humidity reading outside, which is 67%, which would make sense because it's actually raining right now. We then got today's date, which is the 5th of June 2022. Then next to that we've got the time, which is 22 minutes past 1. And then here, this little symbol here, this lightning strike, is showing us that we're on electric hookup, which we are. And then the L stands for leisure battery, which is indicating the battery symbol here, which is showing me that my leisure battery is as good as full. So then the remainder of the panel left to right, we've got the power on and off button. We've then got the pump, the awning light. We've then got the lighting, the power, heating, setting, and then last of all the fridge. So let's look at these individually. So for the pump, obviously I've got the pump switched off. I don't have any water in the system, so I won't switch that on to demonstrate it. However, as a precaution, we always turn the pump off when we're not using it, and that's just to avoid ever the chance of getting a flood should the Basecamp spring a leak or the seals in the plumbing fail, because the pump would detect a drop in pressure and turn on, and we could potentially pump 40 litres of alcohol into the Basecamp. So unlikely that will happen. Just as a precaution, we switched that off. There was actually one time in the Lake District when I'd set off for a hike, and I'd walked off and I had muddy boots, and I realised that I hadn't switched the pump off, and I was able to walk back to the Basecamp, and because of the Bluetooth connectivity I just got in range of the Basecamp and switched the pump off from outside, which was very convenient. So so the Bluetooth connectivity for the pump is fantastic. This one here is the awning light. Pretty much useless on the Swift Command because all Basecamps have an awning light button at the door, so we never use that. And then the next one is the lighting. So when you press that, you can see here now that we've got dimmer 1, dimmer 2. So I've got all the lights on so that they're 100%. So dimmer 1 is the LED lights that are in the rear section of the Basecamp over the kitchen, and dimmer 2 are the LED lights that are in the living area. And you can use the Swift Command to turn them up or turn them down, and also you can turn them off. Now we use this a lot, so we use the lights on the control panel a lot, but also we use the lighting from our iPhone. So for example, when we go to bed, the last one that gets into bed, we'll switch the lights off using our iPhone. So that's very convenient, and it's very good for that. Next one here is power. So if you go into power, now I do use this a lot, so let me explain what this is telling us. So right now it's showing me that again I'm on electric hookup, and you can see that I've got 14.3 volts in the leisure battery. So the leisure battery is as good as full. Next one here is solar from the 100-watt solar panel on the roof. That's not drawing any power right now, which I wouldn't expect it to be doing because it is raining. And then this one here is from the vehicle, so that should always be on 0 because that's only going to show power when you hitch to your car. So, and then the next button here, if you press that, what this is showing us now is the amount of amps I'm using. This is really useful and I use this all the time. So right now it's showing me that I'm pulling 1.3 amps. And that's because I've got the fridge on and I've also got the lighting on. It's very useful so that when you're on a campsite, you'll either have a 10 amp or a 16 amp electric hookup. So it's useful to keep an eye on your ampage. So for example, if you're on a 10 amp electric hookup, you've got the water on, the heating on, the TV, the lighting. If you're drawing over 10 amps, the electrics will trip. So it's handy to keep an eye on that to make sure that you're not pulling more amps than the supply can give you. And the next one here is you can set the limit. So you can set the maximum amount of amps coming into the base camp. I just keep that switched off. I've never actually used that, but you can do that if you want. So then we go back to the home screen. And then the next one is heating. Right, this is useless on the base camp because the base camp doesn't have a compatible heating system installed that you can use the timer and set the times for your hot water and heating. Unless anybody can tell me different, because I've not been able to work that out. So based on what I know right now, I'm going to say that that is a useless feature in the base camp. And then next is settings. So this one here is just where your general settings, set your time, your date, your screen brightness, you set up your Bluetooth connectivity and all that on this screen here. I set it all up when we bought the base camp and I've never used it since. And the last setting to have a look at is the fridge. Now I use the fridge and control the fridge via the Swift command on my iPad or my iPhone. I don't use it via the control panel. So let's get connected via Bluetooth and I'll show you the fridge via my iPad. When it comes to the fridge, this is where the Bluetooth connectivity to the Swift command is really useful because I turn the fridge on 24 hours before any trip to get it to temperature. So I go into fridge and the modes are off, auto, gas, 12 volt, which is connected to your car, or 230 volt when you're connected to your pitch. I use the auto setting, and then the temperature setting is at 3. And then the temperature setting I will check throughout the day, and once that moves to optimal, I will then put the food in the fridge. And that brings to the end my overview of the Swift command system. So to answer the question of whether it's a downgrade or not, well, the Bluetooth is very useful and the control panel is visually pleasing to look at and nice to use. But does it take the fun out of a Swift Base Camp 2? Absolutely not. And does it spoil the never-ending possibilities when it comes to adventures? No, it doesn't. It's just something to consider when choosing your model of whether that is something you'd like to have or not. Thanks for watching and I hope you found this video useful. See you on the next one.